I am so honored to be back here today. I'm so excited, but unfortunately I'm no less nervous than I was last year, so I'm freaking out a little bit. Bear with me. So I saw that there are a few new faces, so I want to give a quick recap of my story before I go into a full update on what I've been doing the past year. So my name's Audrey Rossi, I'm 27 years old, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 rectal cancer on July 20th of 2017. So my 2-year anniversary is this Saturday. When I was diagnosed, my cancer had spread to my lymph nodes, and my liver was pretty much engulfed in cancer. And if you recall, my treatment plan was this. Okay, we're gonna start with chemo and radiation to shrink the tumors. And then we'll go to surgery to remove the primary tumor and all of the metastases on the left side of your liver. After that surgery, you'll have some more chemo, and when you recover, or when you are recovered, we'll get you to a second surgery that will remove the metastases on the right side of your liver. And when I came here and when I was speaking with you guys last year, I was post my first surgery and 2 weeks out from my second surgery, which was supposed to be the last step in my cancer journey. So I was very excited for it. And I was in good spirits here because 1, I'm always very excited when I'm with this community and happy. And 2, I just couldn't wait to get rid of, I had an ileostomy bag after my first surgery that I didn't deal very well with. And just to get rid of the cancer. When the day finally came, and I was in recovery, my fiance, now husband, came in. Came into the room, and at first I didn't sense how heavy his heart was, because I was, I was drugged up and on cloud 9 from all of that. But after sitting with me for a few moments, I finally thought to ask him, okay, well, how did the surgery go? And I could tell he didn't want to tell me at first, but I kind of pressed him, and he explained to me that when the surgeon opened me up, he found peritoneal disease, salt and pepper, throughout my abdomen. Now, peritoneal disease cannot be surgically removed. You have to rely on chemo to cure it. So at the time, my surgeon knew that he couldn't take what he had planned to from my liver because I needed my liver to tolerate the chemo that I needed to address my peritoneum. So this failed surgery left me with the label of being incurable. I put that in quotes because I don't subscribe to that label. But hearing those words was kind of a spiritual awakening for me. Because how do you face mortality so intimately without spirituality? So I started to explore my spirituality through visiting churches and reading spiritual texts and meditating and praying every day. And through this journey, I've experienced many kind of amazing things that have happened, but I want to tell you guys one story in particular that's just kind of like the easiest story to put into words. So one day when I was reading a book that I had purchased when I first started my spiritual journey, and it's called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. Highly recommend it. And she was talking about a meditation that you can use for divine guidance if you have an important decision to make in your life. And at the time, I thought about this clinic in California that I had consulted with months prior, and realized that I needed some kind of push to really commit to going to this clinic in California. Because after I had kind of gone through the process of looking at this clinic in California, I got wrapped up in a clinic in Colorado that provides mistletoe therapy. And you guys might have remembered me talking about mistletoe therapy last year. I use it subcutaneously as it mitigates the side effects of chemotherapy. And I absolutely attribute my stamina through 42 rounds of chemo to mistletoe. Woo! And Mistletoe my pursuit of this has been supported financially by the Insight Foundation, a cancer support community, which I'm incredibly grateful for. So I had planned this trip to Colorado to get IV mistletoe therapy, but I didn't know what to do with this clinic in California that was just kind of like hanging out in the back of my mind. So the meditation that Gabrielle Bernstein lays out is something like this. Turn your heart, open your heart to God, and ask for a divine sign to be presented that will indicate the answer to a decision that you are facing in your life. So after a few minutes sitting with the divine, I just prayed and said, God, I don't know if this clinic is the right fit for me, and I don't know when the right time is. So please give me a sign for when I should pursue this clinic. And all of a sudden I thought, pineapple. And I was like, hold on, God. Don't you know that pineapples are like this huge fad nowadays? They're like on coffee mugs, and they're on women and men's prints on shirts. They're everywhere. How am I supposed to know what pineapple is divine? So I just sat with it for a couple minutes. I just took a deep breath and said, all right, I just pray that if and when the sign comes to me, it's undeniably divine. And I just know in my heart that it's you. And I just let it go. Well, a couple hours later, I was cleaning my house, emptying the dishwasher, and I was listening to a podcast, and I heard Joe Rogan mention a comedian named Jimmy Pineapple. And when I heard the name, the crown of my head just set fire, and like hot energy poured down my body. And I just stopped dead in my tracks. I had a bowl in one hand, I'm reaching for the cabinet with the other. I just busted out laughing, and I was crying. I was really hysterical in the moment. But I just sat with it and surrendered and said, all right, I surrender. And immediately got my mom to start booking our flights, to change our return flights from Colorado to home, to just go straight to California and check out this clinic and see what it is. So this sign felt so right in my heart that my husband and I started making plans to just go to California. We were gonna move and invest in this clinic, but we decided go there one day, make sure it's the right fit, and then we'll move as soon as possible. So on Cinco de Mayo, I called my husband from Laguna Beach and I said, I found an apartment, start packing, let's go. And I was very excited. The next morning, before visiting the clinic, I sat in prayer again and just asked God that if this is where I should be, please make it feel like home. And to my incredible, disappointing surprise, when I got there, I was very intrigued by the clinic and impressed by all the services, but it just didn't feel like home. And that was like a punch to the gut. And I was almost mad at God in the moment. I was like, why did you send me here if this isn't where I need to be to heal? But then I realized God sent me a pineapple to resolve my curiosity. If I hadn't gone there when I probably would have booked an entire week there, and that would have been a huge waste of money. So it all worked out, and I'm very grateful for the experience, and it's only deepened my spiritual connection to God and my pursuit of spiritual healing despite all odds. So I have to tell you guys that I don't have a really great way of ending this speech because I'm really in a state of limbo right here. I have an MRI on Thursday that will tell me how the IV mistletoe went. So I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but I ended up going to Colorado for 3 weeks of mistletoe IV therapy that the Insight Foundation supported, and I could not have done without. So my MRI on Thursday will show us what that did for me and all of the spiritual healing stuff that I've done. I wish that I could have more tangible progress to present to you guys, but I promise you, if I'm invited back next year, I will have a purely joyful healing story that goes beyond just the emotional side of things, because I can feel God working in me physically. whether or not you're a believer or not. That's how I feel. And I promise you that stay tuned and I'll have some good news. Last year I spent a lot of time really focusing on talking about all of the things that cancer support community has done for me. So I felt like I could tell you guys my pineapple story and kind of let that to the side, but just to reiterate that, I could not have gotten through the past 2 years without cancer support community. It just makes me speechless, the financial and emotional support that they have provided me. And don't ever doubt for a second that every dollar that you put into cancer support community is being used in amazing ways to really change the lives of people with cancer for the better. So thank you all so much for being here and supporting such a wonderful organization.